Hi, I'm Lucas Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Everyone, I'm Lucas Mack, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. Such a pleasure having you join, and happy April. We're flying right along. Today's the 5th of April. I had a really beautiful weekend. I got to officiate a wedding of a friend, and it was a beautiful wedding. I want to share a quick thing that the mask thing has been a massive wrestling event for me. And if you're listening and you're triggering me or you're triggered and you want to troll me, save it. Cause I've had everyone under the sun message me about that. Anyway, at the wedding here, there was this point where I was told to put a mask on, and it was just this interesting moment. And I was talking to a friend, a Navy SEAL veteran, actually Larry, who I've had on the podcast. And he said, "Why is it such a big deal for you to put on a mask?" And I explained that it feels like I'm being violated like I was when I was a little boy. And I said, at the end of the day, it comes down to, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I didn't want that to happen to me then. I couldn't speak out. I don't want this to happen to me now. And ironically, it keeps me from speaking out, muffles my voice. I don't want to do it. So you're crossing my sovereign will. And he said, but you're projecting onto that person, each person that's trying to get you to wear a mask, you're projecting onto them that they're the perpetrator, that they are essentially the rapist again, putting me back in that situation. So he's like, you continually traumatize yourself. I was like, dude, that's such a great point. And I referenced this meditation that I did not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I did have that beautiful meditation where I heard about heaven is heart even, a heart in balance. But I also ask God to give me perspective of others, give me a greater perspective of others. How do other people see things so that I can communicate more properly, more effectively, more clear, articulating these words that everyone can hear? Because at the end of the day, I really do believe that every single person on this planet is looking for the unconditional and infinite love of the Most High God, the one infinite creator. And there are forces that exist on this planet to keep us from stepping into that love, keeping us from experiencing that love. And yes, it's also found in religion. God is not found in any religion. God existed before religion. God will exist after religion. God is not religion. So I asked for that in the meditation, and then here I am having this conversation with my buddy over the weekend. And I got choked up because I couldn't fight when I was a kid. I couldn't stop what happened. I didn't have the power to stop what happened when I was a kid. Just get me choked up right now. And I have the power now. I'm a big guy, and I have the power now. And yet it's almost like I'm looking to fight these people trying to put a mask on me to keep me from speaking, to cross my will. I'm putting on them that they're the perpetrator of my childhood, and I'm ready to fight at all times. And Larry was asking me these questions. Is that true? Are they the perpetrator of your childhood? No, they're not. Okay. Now, he made a point. You can still choose not to wear a mask, but you don't have to have that emotional charge. Now, I had a massive amount of emotional charge. Like I was ready at any moment to. I've seen all these videos, these people get bullied, and I tell you, it's going to be the opposite if that ever came to that with me. And yet it's not even what I want. What I want is to love people. I want us all to walk in love, to walk in sovereignty and freedom. And I want people to wake up to the love and sovereignty and to not have fear, to not be compliant to a tyrannical government of any political party or any affiliation or any philosophical. It doesn't matter if it's the most ardent conservative view, that you do not give away your sovereignty to a greater force outside yourself, except for God, if you want. And it's safe because God is love and he's not going to take from you anything. He's going to give to you everything. So anyway, this is this battle I've been in, and it has been a battle, and it's been intense at times. And anyway, so I'm talking to Larry about this, and I also realized that in that moment of when I don't wear a mask and these other people see me and they are wearing a mask and I am not, that perhaps I represent the perpetrator to their childhood. So one of the things I learned early on in my healing is the only person that I saw take care of themselves or be able to defend themselves or protect themselves hurt me and hurt other people. And a therapist said to me, and it was brilliant. It broke me down and I started crying. So the only person I saw who could protect and take care of themselves hurt other people. So I associated protecting and taking care of yourself equals pain in myself and in others. And I didn't want to cause pain in others nor in myself. So I was in that perpetual state of people pleasing. But now I'm not in that state and not even close in that state. And yet me not wearing a mask might put someone who is afraid and is compliant to authority because they don't want to get hurt, because they grew up in a childhood state where the only person who didn't comply caused pain. And it changed my perspective. And at the end of the day, all I want is for every single person, every single one of us to walk in love and to walk in freedom, to walk in truth, to walk in sovereignty, to walk in beauty. These are not words without meaning. These are the purest sense and essence of our being. And I had a massive humbling and compassion. And I still choose not to wear a mask. But I also have now taken away the charge of those that want me to, that they're not my perpetrator. And I can show them love and show them that I am not their perpetrator. And if we just had the courage to go back and heal our childhood trauma, heal our past traumas, heal, and by the only way to heal is to go back and look at them and to put ourselves back in those states of how we felt and rescue that little child that we once were, the little boy for me, the little girl for you, a little boy for you, whoever you are listening, like to go back and be the greatest hero of that little child's existence, that little child who was afraid, who was seeking love, who was seeking understanding of this world, who was so open to God and so open to source and so readily available to all that is, and fear, pain, trauma, confusion, beatings, torture, rape, all these things that get inserted into children's lives. We get to heal those in ourselves by going back into those moments and not re-traumatizing ourselves, but understanding with the knowing that we are safe to go back and rescue ourselves and become the heroes that we have been searching for. God's love is infinite and unconditional, and it existed back then in our present now when we were children, and it still exists back then now in our present moment. So we can go back and still be in the unconditional and infinite love of God and rescue that child in the memories that we carry as we are now, so we were then, and bring that child back into that safe space of our heart, our body, our soul, and to fill the essence, the fullness of who we are, who we be, who we seek, who we want, who we crave in our lives is actually us, fully integrated, fully filling our bodies. For so many of us, our souls remain the 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 or 0 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9, the little child. Our bodies grew, but our soul got stuck in those traumas. And so we're adults in stature, physical stature, but we're still emotional children. That's why we're so afraid, so compliant, so easily giving up our sovereignty, so easily giving up our rights, so easily willing to believe authority figures. And it is time, brothers and sisters, that we go back and rescue us then and bring them into now. So I've had quite a weekend, quite a realization, quite an understanding, and an answer to prayer in meditation that I would understand other people's perspectives. And someone asked me, do you not wear a mask because is it political for you? And I said, no. I said I was violated as a child, and I won't let when I say no, it's no. No one's going to cross that. That's not even, there's zero space for negotiation. I said, it's sad that this is even politicized, but it's about sovereignty. If you want to wear it, wear it. If you don't, but don't force, because when you force, you are bringing a resistance back to you. And I was forcing my freedom, and I didn't need to. I could just be free. I am free, so I can be free. And I don't have to bring that charge. And my encouragement is to everyone else, don't bring the charge. Just love people, love one another, love one another. There's no greater commandment than this, that you love one another. And sadly, the teachings have been taken out of the Bible, religion, and you hear it's like you can't love another if you don't love yourself. The reality is we have no concept of love for another unless we go back to ourselves in the past and rescue that child so that we can truly feel love, not know love in our minds, but know love in our body and our experience. And we find love of self when we are proud of ourselves. And the best way to become proud of ourselves is to go rescue the little children who we once were, who exist stuck in time, and go tell them how beautiful they are, how beautiful we are, how lovely we are, that they are safe now and they can come back inside the fullness of our bodies to reside and to fill us, because they are innocent souls, love us unconditionally. And that is the greatest truth that you will ever hear. Our souls love us unconditionally and infinitely because our soul is of God. Our neshama, the breath of God, is of God. And it is infinite and unconditional. So we love one another because we first loved ourselves, because he first loved us. Well, the father and the son relationship in that is no different than you, the adult, and you, the child. That's the real teaching. The real teaching is bringing back the child that you were stuck in that time and space of trauma back into being balanced of feminine and masculine energy, a whole trinity inside yourself. Healed, free, sovereign. So that's what I learned this weekend. And I wanted to share that. And I hope it blesses you, really. And if you need support in your healing journey, reach out to me. I work with a lot of people, male, female, all different pasts and paths that they've come from. But you're not alone, and you don't have to keep carrying this trauma. And if you're afraid, if you're feeling fear from whatever perspective, if you're feeling afraid of any sickness that might exist, or you're afraid of government actions that might exist, whatever, if you're feeling afraid, reach out to me as well, because it's time that you face your fears and get support in that so that you can be the conquering lion in your own life. I said this on David Nino Rodriguez's podcast. Proverbs 28 says, "The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion." Be bold today, my brother and sister, in love and light, in truth and in goodness for yourself and your fellow man. Everything's going to work out. Everything. So I bless you all. I love you all. I'm Lucas Mack. This is the Golden Rule Revolution, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.